For Monday, November 4th, 2019. I just would ask anybody, if you have your phones, make sure you put them on silent. Is there anybody that would like to get added to the first Q&A session? Okay, seeing no one. New business, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Martin.
Pass.
Councillor Roach. Councillor Thorngass.
Thank you.
Councillor Pollard.
Thank you.
Councillor Glenn.
Budget consultations and thanks.
Okay, and I got thanks. Motion to adopt the agenda, please, as amended.
So moved.
Oh, and don't forget to use your microphones when you're talking. Mover, seconder? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. One thing that I would mention before we start is that you're going to see a little different tonight. When council gets speak, they're going to stand up to speak so that everybody knows who's speaking. When we reviewed our video, knows that when people are speaking, we don't know who it is that's speaking at any point in time. So we're going to try this as a new way to do it. I noticed some other councils do it, and it seems to work pretty good. So no big deal, just a little change. We're going to try it out and see how it works. All right, so I got a public council minutes from October 22nd. Any errors or omissions? On motion to adopt, please.
So moved.
Second.
Governor, seconder, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. We have no proclamations, no presentations, no Q&A. Mayor's report. So, last couple of weeks, October 27th, we had our trunk or treat in that upper three corner pond, and it was a pretty good time. I had myself in as a vendor, my truck, and I had my costume on. I give out about, I don't know, I had enough stuff for 400 kids anyway, and I still had a little bit left over. That's home in the garage now that the family is eating, but it was a great time. I don't know, we had probably close to 300, 275, so that was a great turnout, and the weather wasn't too bad. It was all right for the most part, and we had a little bit of rain and sloppy snow and stuff, but the kids had the best time, and that's all that matters, I guess, at the end of the day. October 28th, we had our committee of the whole meeting. On the weekend, on Saturday, we had our Northeast Avalon Dart Tournament in Balleen. And congratulations to the town of Balleen for winning this year. They beat the city of St. John's in the final, which is all good. I know how that feels. Beat St. John's in the final. We did it last year. So now they're going to be the defending champions, and the prize is whatever was taken in registration fees. The town of Balleen will choose a charity of their choice and make a donation, which is always good. Coming up this week, I got a few things to attend. Remembrance Day ceremony tomorrow at Juniper Ridge Intermediate, and on Thursday at Holy Trinity High School. I always look forward to those. They're always great events, and it's nice to see how much effort, particularly that the children at Juniper Ridge put into it with the slideshow and everything that they do, and Holy Trinity High School always puts off a top-notch ceremony, so I'm looking forward to those. Wednesday, we're having our budget consultation here at the town hall. What time is that? At 7 o'clock, so everybody's welcome to come by for that. And next week, on the 14th, is our M&L convention that's being hosted in St. John's. I look forward to that. It's always great to get together with people from municipalities all across the province, discuss issues that are common to all of us, and look for things that we're going to advocate. And our birthdays for the month of November, Terry Lynn Farrell, Brian Winter, and Charlie Keane. I don't know if anybody on council has a birthday in November. If they do, it's not on my list. Who? You? Oh, and the deputy mayor. I can do that now. And also on Wednesday, prior to our budget consultation, we're going to have a short special public council meeting to deal with our committee of the whole minutes from last week. There's a couple of motions in there that we want to deal with. We had a technical issue with our posting our council package, so the minutes were not posted publicly. So rather than just bring them forward now, we're going to do a meeting for Wednesday. We'll post the agenda tomorrow so everybody can have a chance to have a look at it. And then we'll do that. Then we'll have our budget consultation afterwards.
I got a question.
Yeah.
I understood from what I've been telling people is that that meeting was going to include information session on water issues that we had in summer. So
I'm waiting for the engineers to confirm. They were out of town last week and I've asked several times, so I sent several emails today as well, so I haven't gotten a response back. Yep.
Turn your can you turn the microphone on?
On the water.
Yeah.
So I thought we were doing that when we were giving our reports.
All right, okay.
If not, we're all going to be bobbing up and down all night.
I saw those emails going around about that, and I guess we'll try and do it. And if not, we can have a meeting particular for the water, which is probably a better idea anyway. Talk about all the issues surrounding our issues with the water supply.
I just wanted to insist and have that ASAP because
Yeah.
that was something that we had told residents we were going to have.
I agree. Great, thank you. Anybody else got any questions on any of that? Okay.
We're going to mention, at this point in time, the agenda for
The agenda,
Wednesday.
there's two motions in the committee of the whole minutes. I believe two motions, Don? Or one? Just the one? One motion to deal with the parking lot at the new community center. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. So, moving on. Business arising report. Anybody have any questions on that? Seeing none, we'll move on. Correspondence. We have a couple of correspondence here from residents about our last meeting to do with our council package. I think that they're there for information purposes only. They're a moot point now, but they are something that I guess council can keep in mind as we move forward. There's one there from Logy Bay, Middle Cove, Outer Cove about natural asset management inventory project, and I think that we forward that on to planning. And there's a thank you letter there from St. Nicholas Church and ask our thanking us on behalf of, I guess, St. Nicholas Church and Holy Trinity parishes about the new signage that we helped them erect. Right? Okay. Moving on. Committees Council. Planning, Land Use and Development. Councillor Martin.
Thank you.
He's chair.
We had our meeting on October 29th. Myself and Councillor Thorin Goss and Director Winter attended. We discussed some items. The first one was a development proposal, and it was a proposal from a property owner on 402 Pond Line. Committee reviewed the new proposal and agreed that prior to making a recommendation, we would need the applicant to apply for a permit per normal process. As well, we had some correspondence from a property owner at 898 Torbay Road. It was regarding a letter that we reviewed and agreed that if the lot size isn't within regulations, that the committee would not recommend approval. Director Winter did review a survey provided by the property owner, and the lot does not meet the town's requirements for the lot size. We also had a letter from property owner in relation to discretionary use application at 45 Flora Drive. Committee did review that letter as well, as it was a discretionary use posting, and it was agreed that it was a proposal for a home-based business, and it would have very little visitation from the general public, and committee did agree that it would recommend the application for approval. The other items we had were a shale issue on Motion Drive. Director Winter is going to set up a site visit with the residents as soon as possible. And next we had applications for approval. Application C 2019-101, 17 Motion View Close, single family dwelling. Application C 2019-109, 31 Gallows Cove Road, single family dwelling. Application C 2019-121, 17 Salesnick Lane, single family dwelling. Application C 2019-123, 62 Tappers Farm Road, storage building for agricultural use. We also had a variance and discretionary use application. Following applications have been or will be advertised in accordance with the Town of Torbay's regulations and motion number 031-18. Application C 2019-124, 1 William Manning Drive, and that's a construction depot with lay-down area. And finally, we have our business application report. These are to be considered at tonight's meeting. Applications for approval, application BR 2019-026, 45 Flora Drive, which is a home office for a marketing business. The zoning is residential large lot. The issues presented are the subject property is located within the residential large lot land use zone. The proposed home is listed as a discretionary use within the residential large lot land use zone and regulations 33 and 90 of the Torbay Development Regulations. Written correspondence was received in relation to the proposal. The application was discussed at the Planning and Land Use Development Committee meeting on October 29, 2019, item 2B. Recommendation, committee recommends that the above noted application be approved subject to the following conditions. All normal conditions and requirements for operating a business within the town of Torbay. The business will be subject to business tax in accordance with the published schedule of taxes and fees for the town of Torbay. There will be no parking of commercial vehicles or storage of materials on the property. So moved.
Second.
Over, seconder. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Next one is application BR 2019-025. Location is 115 Country Drive. Home office for a recruitment agency. The zoning is residential medium density. The issue there is the subject property is located within the residential medium density land use zone. The proposed home office is listed as a discretionary use within the residential medium density land use zone. Discretionary use applications are subject to condition 9 of the residential medium density land use zone and regulation 33 and 90 of the Torbay Development Regulations. The application was advertised as per discretionary use regulations. No written correspondence was received in relation to the proposal. Committee's recommendation that the above noted application be approved subject to the following conditions. Number 1, all normal conditions and requirements for operating a business within the town of Torbay. Number 2, the business will be subject to business tax in accordance with the published schedule of taxes and fees for the town of Torbay. Number 3, there will be no parking of commercial vehicles or storage of materials on the property. So moved.
Over, seconder. Just, there was a written correspondence, right, for that one?
For the second one?
Yeah. And the director is going to discuss with them?
Okay.
Okay.
So do we want to defer that then?
No, no,
Or we just proceed?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that
Okay.
there was a written correspondence. Okay, any questions?
There's two motions.
Floor Drive, right, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Country Drive.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
Show hands when we record.
All right, sorry about that. Admin Finance, Councillor Pollard.
Thank you, Your Worship. We'll see how this works now. We'll try to get used to it.
You can
We
move
met,
back- you can move back a bit further if you want.
Why, too loud?
Yeah, a little bit.
We met on the 28th of October, myself and Deputy Mayor. Feedback. Strange, must be me, I think. What can I say? We reviewed the committee mandate as it has changed slightly from the original mandate.
Yeah, it don't matter. Shouldn't make a difference.
Maybe I'll speak lower.
Speaker above you.
So we're going to, like I said, we discussed the mandate. We made arrangement for our meetings at 8 o'clock on Tuesday mornings. The structure of the committee actually has changed to include human resources, administration, and the finance aspect. A slight variance from what the committee structure had been before, as human resources was elsewhere. We discussed there's a professional development for council upcoming, and we're in the process of trying to schedule a time for that and for all hands to take part. We did the reviews of the income and expense reports as we usually do. We focused a bit more on the knowledge around the budget side of things, and that's going to be this Wednesday when we're going to give some feedback as to where we stand with this year's budget, and hopefully seek input from all the residents on what we may want moving forward. This would be the first public meeting, I guess, in relation to the upcoming budget. We will have internal presentations from all directors at a later date, and we will come back again to the public with a review of what we propose for 2020, and then obviously we'll have a vote in chamber. I think that's the way it's going to proceed. If not, I guess it has to now, because I said that way. Not that I said it that way, but now we can't change it. Under the human resources side of things, as you know, there's been a few positions vacant in the town for a period of time, and we're certainly pleased that at least one of these at this point forward will be filled, or at least offered. I don't know what the whole process is around that, but there's a motion here to offer the position of Director of Infrastructure and Public Works position to Brian Winter. So moved.
Second.
Seconder.
I say I'm very pleased that that position has been offered to Brian, and like I said, I'm not sure exactly where that stands in process, whether the acceptance is in place or not, but certainly look forward to working with Brian on the infrastructure side of things. I'm sure he'll bring lots of experience, and he has a good relationship with council and the ability to speak back and forth to us and us to him, so I certainly look forward to working with Brian on this in the future.
Anybody else? He hasn't changed his sign yet, so he's still on his planning. Congratulations, Brian. And, all in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations, Brian.
Congratulations.
Carry on.
We spoke to the other jobs in process, but nothing else to report on that at this point in time. On the administration side of things, we reviewed the need for the community representatives for the Jack Byrne Regional Sports. I think their time is up, so we have to say circulate a letter to thank the previous folks who were on that committee. On the finance side of things, payroll for the period October 17th to the 30th for 2019 were 40 employees, total $75,219.11. Accounts payable for the same period of time, we had invoices in the amount of $407,919.82, and there are 5 operating invoices that require approval. I don't know if there are any capital invoices. They're not. They are as follows. Invoice 31819 for the commissionaires for enforcement for the period September 22nd to the 5th of October in the amount of $5,152. Newfoundland Power Group billing for October 2019, town buildings and street lights in the amount of $10,333.24. Mandatory deductions for the Receiver General for October 1st to the 15th, $23,344.61. Torbay Volunteer Fire Department, there's various expenses that they incur throughout the year, and we reimburse them on a receipt basis in the amount of $5,647.97. Wood Environment and Infrastructure Solutions for the water supply on review on North Pond and Great Pond in the amount of $7,241.55. Apex Construction Specialties for fencing for the community center site in the amount of $22,344.50. There's 2 invoices here for Skyline for the 25% portion of the signs for the entrance to the community center in the amount of $25,495.14, and the engagement sign installed at the community center for $5,890.92. Grand Concourse, close to the final billion, I guess, for the Lower Street Trail in the amount of $16,876.47. All for a grand total of $51,719.37. So moved. And that total is not correct.
Councillor Pollard and informs me there's 2 separate motions for those.
That's all right, okay. Okay, so the first amount of invoices were for $51,719.37. They were the Commissioners, Newfoundland Power, Receiver General, Torbay Volunteer Fire Department, and Wood Environment Infrastructure Solutions. So moved.
Second.
Seconder, questions?
Just a quick question. So all these are budgeted expenditures?
They are.
Anybody else? All in favour?
Aye.
Opposed?
The other 4 invoices were for the Apex one for the fencing for the community center. The Skyline was part of the signage for the community center, and Grand Concourse Authority for the trail, as I had said, in the amount of $70,607.03. So moved.
Second.
Seconder, questions?
Just same thing.
Councillor Thorngoss? Can you turn the microphone on, please?
Just a question there, and I guess with Skyline, 25 deposit for the digital entrance sign to the community centre. I guess I must have missed that one, or I wasn't aware that we had gone out for. And the other thing, I guess, well, it's digital. I was going to say about the name. We haven't decided on the name. So I guess it's not going to be up, or where it's digital, it doesn't matter, that we haven't decided on the name of the community centre yet?
There's a temporary panel that would go into the sign, and then based on naming rights, it could be slotted out with the new name gone in there. I know that is something that Pilot is working on, and they have someone identified, but it hasn't come back yet.
So when we put it up first, it's not going to be called the Torbay Common, I'm assuming. It'll be blank.
I can get that confirmed, depends on the timelines from their meeting, but
Yeah.
there's no additional cost for the temporary panel to the permanent panel. That's what I was advised.
I know, but my concern is once you put a name on there, it's probably going to continue to be called either the Kinsman or the Torbay Common, and I think a lot of the residents assume that the name is Torbay Common, and I think that it's important for a name not to go on that until it's actually named, whatever it's going to be, as per.
Yeah, Councillor Thorngoss's commentary on that too. I noticed when I was driving the other morning, and they talked about the event on the weekend at the Torbay Common. I found it kind of strange. I said, if we're going to change the name, we better get working on that soon, and now it's going to be known as Torbay Common. It'll be almost too late to actually change what we're doing. So, to Councillor Gallant's question, it's hard to say whether or not, when we talk about the community centre, whether or not it's budget or not, it's went through the proper process. We all know that the community centre is over budget. So as far as the answer to that is, I will say yes to the recognised as a need and approved by council previously, and amongst everything else that was there as well. So moved.
So yeah, just I guess to complete the questions, a couple questions on it was, A, of course, just want to ensure that this is within our budget. There's no unbudgeted surprises or expenditures with regards to Torbay Common. And just a question on the 25% deposit for the digital sign entrance. So that's $25,000. That's 25% deposit. So is that digital entrance sign going to be $100,000? Is that correct?
88,678.
88,000.
Yeah.
I guess I'm surprised it was that high. I didn't think it was that high. Okay, obviously we can check, or I believe obviously. And the other thing is, I guess with regards to talking about the name, just a quick comment. I know we had our capital campaign putting out a price for the name, right? Hey, pay X amount of money, you can have this named after your corporation, corporate sponsors, stuff like that. But I think one of the recommendations with regards to that, and again, please correct me if I'm wrong, is we can't really give it away, right? Even if it you want to hold back, you don't want to give it away for a small amount of money. That should be a big major type of thing. I think that was basically the crux conversation we had before, and I know there might be some fear of being called a Torbay Common, but I think we might just want to before we give, you don't want to give away the naming rights for next to nothing. We want to make sure that's a very high standard. That's
all those levels of contribution to what you get for that is all laid out in the documentation for the pilot. It's all there.
Right. Well, I guess I was concerned that we were saying, hey, we don't want to be known as Torbay Common. Let's just, kind of get the next highest bidder. But I think we want to make sure there's actual, I guess, minimum ceiling to get in on the major naming rights for perpetuity.
Go ahead. You done?
So ends my report, Your Worship. Yeah.
Okay. All in favor? Go
No,
ahead.
go ahead, we'll do that. No, just,
Well, we're going to pass this. Do you want to talk to that?
No, I didn't want to talk to that, but
All
I
right,
didn't want to
okay.
speak for the report.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Go ahead.
Just a point of clarification for the members who have been serving from the community as community reps for the Jack Byrne Board of Directors. The positions stay, I believe, until the AGM happens in January. So I'd just like to take the time to thank Jackie and Chris for the work they've done, and to just a point of clarification that those positions are still there until the AGM happens.
Is that the same for me?
Just in case there's any confusion.
I guess that's the same for me too, Tony, so you don't have to go out there until after that.
That's good. That works for me.
No, I don't
Oh,
think
no,
so,
I'm
because
already
we've
replaced. You're
identified
already
that.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've already replaced your group.
Just to clarify that, the motion for the Council of Reps was done in October of
Okay,
2017, and the Community Reps was done in January.
Okay.
So we're on track and on time with those appointments.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Go ahead. Use your microphone, Peggy, please, or Councillor Roach.
Got it turned on. What our deputy mayor just mentioned, where did that come from? Like,
About the Jack Byrne reps.
yeah, and,
Term for a Jack Byrne Arena board member is 2 years.
okay,
Then you re-advertise for new reps. They can reapply if they like, and then we choose 2 new reps and we send them out at the AGM. That's supposed to be normal course of business. That's why my 2 years was up. Councillor Pollard is going to replace me. Deputy Mayor is staying on. You can stay for 2 consecutive terms
okay,
if you want.
I understand that. I'm just wondering, because we were talking about something else, but, where that came out of that. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay,
No more.
all right. Thank you. Infrastructure and Public Works, Councillor Thorngaz.
We had our meeting on the 30th.
Turn your microphone on, please. There you go.
We had our meeting on the 30th, Councillor Pollard and CAO. Items discussed, and I'm just going to ask CAO for an update. It was the multi-purpose building, and that the final inspection was going to take place on November 1st. So is there an update, assuming?
There was an inspection, a partial inspection done on Friday. There was one done today, and there's another tomorrow. So we're down to 2 items now before occupancy
So that's what
Yes,
I
yeah.
was asking, when the building will be open to the public again.
Wednesday, so that would be Wednesday, yep.
Okay. Smoke testing, have a motion here. The town of Torbay award the,
Councillor Thorngoss, I have to declare a conflict for this motion, so I'm going to have to step back from the vote on this one,
How can you be in a conflict?
because I'll be working with them with a sister company they have, not with Biomax, but with Altomax. Yeah, I can't
Okay, all right.
vote on this one,
Okay,
so I'll step away.
all right. So, hang on now before you go. So everybody okay with that? Yes. All right. Okay. Yeah, we should do a motion. So
I'd just like to get clarification on,
Deputy Mayor is going to be working with a company that,
as part of
Is-
your
yes.
consulting company.
I will be working with their, not Biomax, but with Altomax, which is another company they own. So if there's any potential for conflict, I'd like to declare it now and ask that council make a motion that I be excused for this vote, please.
You don't need a motion?
no, but we have to agree though. I think we should do a motion actually. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Because it,
We've done it in the past.
yeah, there,
As long as the impact is there, it's fine, whatever it needs
yeah.
to be.
Okay. Yep. All right.
Okay, move that the town of Torbay award the sanitary smoke testing program to Biomax Environmental at a cost of $18,000 plus HST. So moved.
Second.
Over to seconder. Questions, comments? No? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. She can come back in now.
Just to confirm, Councillor Thorngoss, that work can be completed this year based on the motion of council.
It will be.
Yep.
Just before you go on, I just want to clarify, the reason why I wanted to do a motion was because to make it clear that if someone is in a conflict, we don't want somebody to use a conflict excuse to get out of a vote for whatever reason, so that's the only reason I asked
Good.
that.
Junior ball field, CAO circulated a copy of an email from the chair of the Torbay Minor Softball Association, and correspondence outlined feedback from the summer season and their budget requests for 2020. The committee requested CAO to review the previous discussions on drainage for the junior ball field and long-term options. I'd just like to mention there that we had, I guess a resident came back, we had an email from a resident, but that is something normal even on the big field after a heavy rainfall, so it was noticed that there is no need. There was no comments or problems this summer with regards to water. Tender for ice control materials. Have a motion here that the town of Torbay award a tender for the supply of Winter Road sand for a 3-year period, 2019-2021, to Capital Ready Mix at a cost of $156,750 plus HST for a total of $180,262.50. So moved.
Second. Just further note to that, I'm going to ask that motion be deferred. That tender, I guess, when I was speaking earlier, I thought it was coming back to the Min-Finance Committee, but I know it went through conversation we had at Infrastructure Public Works. That's not the point. I guess I looked at the price, and I think the price is high, and we only got one response. I think there's more respondents out there who can provide a better price for that, so I move that we defer this to go back and potentially retender or seek better pricing. That is $53 a ton or something on those lines. It's expensive.
I'll second that.
Seconder?
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
What about if we have a need for salt and sands now where we have absolutely none? Are we going to borrow some from somewhere, or like, because this is going to be a process again?
Yeah, well, we had discussed we go out first, and I'm sorry, Councillor Thorngoss, but we just happened before the meeting. We'll probably go for 3 quotes for a smaller amount of salt and sand to get us through what we need at first, because we do need it now as well, but this is, and And this is a 3-year tender, and it's, to me, on face value, looks pretty expensive.
And we can always go down to Harvey's and get it anyway, right? If you're Arcadia.
The salt, we're under provincial government tender. The sand we weren't, that's why we went out for the 3-year call. There were 5 packages picked up, but to Councillor Pollard's point, there was only 1 bid received, so, and it's deemed on the higher end, so we're going to revisit.
It's fair
And we
enough.
won't be caught, we'll put 3 quote, we'll follow proper procurement in terms of getting a smaller quantity to get us through till we can bring forth the recommendation.
So just to reiterate, so we're not going to be caught with no salt or sand. That's not a concern.
Okay. You okay with it?
Yeah.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. So I guess you're going to just withdraw that motion? Or we just deferred it, so that's fine. You can carry on with the rest of your report. Okay, so you withdraw that motion?
I'll withdraw the motion.
Everybody agree? Okay. Thank you.
Crack sealing, CAO circulated list of roads that had crack sealing applied in recent weeks. Zone metering and leak detection project. Committee discussed next steps as it pertains to zone metering and leak detection project. Public meeting on water quality. CAO advised that she's waiting on the confirmation of the availability to host a public meeting. That's what I was talking about earlier. I assumed that it was going to be this week. Investing in infrastructure funding application. CAO confirmed that the capital funding application for water quality improvements to North Pond water supply was submitted prior to the application deadline. She stated that she will follow up with the Director of Planning and Development to confirm recent readings. Bulk garbage cleanup 2019. CAO confirmed that residents' stats from the spring and fall cleanup, in addition to bulk garbage pickup at the curb. We discussed extending the hours on Saturdays from 4 o'clock to 4 o'clock in 2020 and not offering drop-off on Friday nights due to the low participation rates. And was also noted that there is a high participation rate for lawn clippings and leaf drop-off. And waste reduction education, the committee wanted to recognize resident Paula Lancaster in her efforts to educate residents in the importance of waste reduction. Paula will be coordinating an information booth at the November 2nd community market, which is already after taking place, and I will touch on that in my go-around. Climate change, CAO adaptation. CAO confirmed that the community meeting will take place on November 20th, 2019. The Environment Advisory Committee is currently reviewing the program materials, and CAO will be meeting with the committee in the next weeks to discuss resident engagement. That's a really important one, and we need to get that information out there as much as possible. Emergency plan. I guess I've got that. CAO advised that she was speaking with the Fire and Emergency Services regarding the council training related to the town's emergency plan. She advised she will be submitting materials received to date. The coordinator will seek approval to move forward, and committee discussed the timelines for the desk top exercise 219 with a mock disaster in the spring of 2020. And I guess that was one of the additions to the infrastructure and Public Works Committee was the emergency plan and speed calming. Regards to speed calming, Indyme Line Committee discussed a previous resident request for speed bump installation on Indyme Line. She advised that the town has not received written approval from the provincial government regarding the matter. And that was, I guess, prior council had met with members of the provincial government, Deputy Minister Crocker, and I think that there's residents, and we need to get clarification on that because they were basically told that speed bumps would go in and that the provincial government were okay with it. And now that the road is paved in there, they automatically assume that speed bumps were going to be put in. Browns Lane, the center line was painted on Browns Lane to further assist the changes made to road signage in the area. And meeting adjourned at 7 o'clock. Thank you.
Councillor Roach, turn on your microphone. Microphone, please. No, can you turn on your microphone, please?
I'll get used to it. Okay, I understood I thought I saw an email coming out from our CAO that some of us do not have in our papers that we were supposed to file with the CAO. I'm not one of them because I had mine in first. But anyway, it's very important that those who haven't sent those in get it in, because that's the only way we can operate if everybody is inclusive. And, we'd all learn together and, depend on one another and all that stuff. So please get them in. Thank you.
Yeah, there should be no reason why everybody couldn't have them in by the end of the week.
But I would suggest whatever is in there by the end of the week, that's what we go with.
I know, but
We've
this
been
is,
saying that a number of times, and we also suggested that we have everybody come here and go through, take a couple of hours, because this is way.
I know that, but
and
I wouldn't want to guess how many months ago that was sent out, asking council to complete it, but I'm sure it was longer than 12. And
long to have this that long.
there's only 3 of us got it done, so, right? It doesn't take very long, an hour, and you can have it finished. Anyway, we'll move on from that. Everybody knows I sent an email about that.
Yeah, just comment on that. I know we all wanted to do it, and everyone hasn't submitted their things, and I kind of agree with Councilor Thorngoss. Maybe to get it done, maybe we all just come in and spend an hour and just actually get through it together as a group. Might be beneficial. Let's just do it, right? So I'd make myself available to help everyone else get through.
All right, set up a time for you guys to come in and do it. All right. Very good, thank you. That's it for Public Works. Recreation, Community Services. Councillor Klein.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. We had our first meeting of the Recreation Community Services meeting. As myself as chair, we had Councillor Roach there, as well as Tina Auchinleck-Ryan, the director. Items discussed included Remembrance Day. Of course, we have a Remembrance Day ceremony coming up. We're recommending that Mayor Scott do the emceeing. And I just want to make sure that, if you can't make it for some reason, just let me know, and I'll step in as the chair of the committee, or I'll make sure that I'll get deputy, or I'll take care of getting someone to sub in for you if needed. So you don't have to stress about that. We did have some inquiries from residents regarding some of the programs offered at the community center. We also had a request actually for formation of a cadet corps, and we have correspondence and information attached with all that. So please feel free to look through. And we basically met with representatives on October 23rd. And they're looking to basically start Army cadets in Torbay. So all that information that is attached. So just more to come on that, if possible. Not sure if we have the facilities, the permanent facilities that they're looking for, but it'd be nice to talk to them, see if or what we can do for them. Request for proposal update. We have a request for proposals now being posted for catering, fitness, music, and art. We've received Eastern Health funding of $1,000, and that's going to be put forward to purchase some blenders for a juicing program. And also, we had MAD wanted to put a bench into, I guess, upper three-corner Pond Park. And we talked about it. We think it's a good idea. And I actually want to put forward a motion to that, just so we're all on the same page with that. Make sure we were recommending that we go ahead with installation. We'll make sure council's on side. So with that, I guess I'd like to move that the town of Torbay allow MAD to install a memorial bench at upper three-corner park. And all the
Second.
Second, questions, comments?
The is it a bench or is it a plaque? I'm just wondering
It's a bench.
if we, are we looking for standardizing our benches, properties around those lines, or is that something that we need to even consider at this point in time? I thought it was just a plaque emblazoned on a town-sanctioned park bench type thing. I'm not against it, I'm just looking at whether or not if we get 4 or 5 different groups coming that want the bench, then we all got different furniture, shall we say. Not the hill to die on either, but
I think MAD has a specific style of bench that they install. It's marble, and they have some in other locations. I guess the person that requested this is the sister of the person that the bench is going to be dedicated to, who played in Torbay softball and stuff. That's why they looked at that location. So, is Laura correct in that, Councillor Glenn? I think so.
Yes, is my understanding, and there should be drawings, I think.
yeah, they were there, yeah.
It's in, in the package, the specifics of the bench.
Yeah. Okay.
Just,
Oh, go ahead.
just one quick question. I'm wondering about the process to put it in place. I think it's a good idea, definitely, to have a bench and to put it in place and have it there. The question I do have, though, is about costing procurement, how we
There's
go
no to
about
us.
doing that.
There's no cost to us. They're supplying the bench and everything.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure that we had that clarified. Okay, thank you.
Am I right? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in there.
You're the mayor, that's fine.
I just wanted to clarify to make sure, that's all. Thank you.
And I actually have the exact same questions Councillor Pollard and Deputy Mayor had, but it's a full bench. We don't have to pay anything. They just want permission to install it there. And I think it's a good cause, and I think we should go for it.
Sounds good. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Thank you, everybody. We also talked about our events and programs. The DRCS, I get used to saying that now. No, there were several very successful events that we held. The Haunted Hike, the Halloween Spooktacular, and Trunk or Treat. And I've got a couple of notes here. And make sure next time we'll add some of these details into the minutes here. But we've got basically Trunk or Treat. We had 275 people come out. For the Haunted Hike, we had, how many? What's that? 824, you said?
I'd say 8 something, was it?
824 people. And we actually took in a whole bunch of non-perishable food items. Does it say 61 kilograms?
4 to 6 recycling bins.
4 to 6 recycling bins. Okay, that's perfect. That's really good. I think that's a good turnout for everybody. And of course, for our upcoming events, we've got the community market, which I guess happened on Saturday. Community bonfire, wine and dine, and of course, Remembrance Day. Our Torbay Common official rental forms are going to be, we're basically having a meeting with legal to make sure everything's up and running. We do have a meeting with the past kinsman, DRCS, advised the committee that she's been in contact with members of the kinsman, and will be meeting with individuals and CEO to discuss further incorporation and acknowledgement of their piece at the Torbay Commons. And also, we had a field request advertisement, DRCS. Let the committee know that a public advertisement will be going out soon for a request for field time for softball in 2020. And that's it.
Any questions or comments?
So I'm not used to standing up reading and talking. It's a bit different. So.
Sorry, way less feedback than you had last week.
Oh, really? Good.
And that number you can revise for the Haunted Hike up to 826 because I went 2 nights. And I wasn't out.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I'm just curious, we're saying we had 275 people at the trunk or treat.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding was that 300 was the amounts that organizations were told to have treats for.
That's how many tickets that we had.
Right. And I do know that people were turned away and weren't able to get tickets for that. So what was the process? Now, there was more, because I know that I was contacted as well by residents who didn't have them. They missed the deadline, and they wanted to know if they could get them, and I was advised the answer was no. So I'm just curious to see why, if we told organizations to have 300, and there were 275 that participated, why people will end up being turned away.
Oh, I don't know, I just asked the director for the numbers, and this is the numbers I was provided, so.
Okay, so if you guys could go back and look at that. The other thing I wanted to speak to was the meeting with the past kinsmen. And this weekend, there's been some concern raised about that. I know that when we were at the opening ceremony, we were approached by members of the kinsmen, and they were quite upset that there was no mention of them during the opening ceremony. And at that time, members of the kinsmen came to us and expressed that concern. Then there was a package that was delivered to the office here for me. And when I received it, it was a couple days before I was going on vacation. And I actually spoke to the kinsman member and advised him that I would ask staff to follow up, that I'd given it to staff and asked to be followed up. This person came back very upset and concerned because they didn't know what was going on. And the brief time that I did speak with him, he talked about one of the pieces where they made the presentation on this and it received national recognition. Now, I know staff have got correspondence from me on this. I know they are following up on it. But it's very important for us, for the people who put that first building there, to be listened to be heard, for their story to be incorporated into the design. I understand from staff that we are engaging in a fact-finding piece on this, and there's been some communication issues, and that happens, and we are all doing this as a first, and it's a, finding our feet as we go kind of thing. But I really want to make sure that it's clear that all members of the kinsman group that were a part of putting that in there will have an opportunity to be heard, to share their story, that we are going to take that and put it into some sort of an inclusive package that I understand that we're going to consult with them on and make sure that we've put together something that's going to have that recognition for them in that center go forward. So I just want to be really clear, so we have it on the record tonight, that my understanding of that plan right now is that all these people are going to be met with, they're going to be heard, they're going to have a chance to tell their story, and they'll be engaged as we go through this process. And right now it's a fact-finding piece where we're looking to get that information. So I just want to make sure that what I understand is how it's going to roll out, and that is the plan, and that the people who have submitted their information will have the time to meet with staff and share their story, and that will be included. So I just want to make sure that we are following that. Where it's not my committee anymore, I just want to make sure that I understand that. So when I go back to the resident, because I don't want the resident to think, well, gee, I was, upset. I told you I was upset, and now I'm not sure what's happening. So I think we need to have a very clear understanding where we're going, and I think we need to have a clear message for the residents so they know how this is going to work and what the plan is. So could you just confirm that that is the direction that we're planning to take, and make sure that that is clear for the kinsmen themselves so they know?
I saw those emails and I understand the confusion, but what I would say is that the kinsman people, that group, they need to find themselves a single point of contact so that they're going to have to get together, and our town needs to have a single point of contact so we don't have mass confusion going around. So I'm sure that'll be part of consulting when they're going back to talk to those people, because it's hard when you got so many different people that you're trying to. I agree that we don't want to leave nobody out, but we need to get some kind of coordination on going to make sure that we're not duplicating things or someone's not getting left out or forgot.
Well, maybe what we could do is to put out an invitation for a meeting for them to come collectively and speak together with staff, because we're asking retired, sometimes senior citizens here to coordinate. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work, but I do think it's very important that if we have residents who were a part of putting this in place, and the one resident that I spoke to was very proud of the fact that they got national recognition for that project at that time, and I feel as well that that is a very significant piece to capture in the documentation that was provided. So I think we just need to make sure that we have a plan, that we're clear with the kinsmen and how we incorporate all of them, make sure that they all get an opportunity to be heard and participate. And some of these have challenges, physical challenges, to be able to participate. So we need to consider that and figure out how do we collect that information, put it together, and give them an opportunity to provide feedback on it. Because if they broke the ground and gave us the first community center and put it there, then we need to capture that story and get it right.
That's the
And,
objective.
and the fact that it's got a national story of recognition of what they were able to achieve at that time, that's significant, and I don't want to see it lost.
Right.
So I just want to make sure that we're clear on this, that we're clear with the residents, and they know what to expect. And so there's little confusion
I
on
think
it.
we're clear.
Okay, well, I don't know that I'm clear, because I just said it's what I understand is going to happen, but I want confirmation of what is going to happen.
Well, waiting to give you confirmation. So, yeah, I just double confirm with the director, and people are checking their schedules now, but when we're going to have that meeting with them. And like I said, I just came straight, it's my first week on the committee. I guess you were chair you're the former chair, I guess, of all this stuff. So anything you can do to keep on speed on where you are, just send me those emails and all that. And especially if you have any particular feedback from residents, if you could make sure you send it directly to me, so I can help take care of it with as the liaison for these issues with staff, and I'll make sure that we get that taken care of as best we can. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't give the kinsmen the due recognition that they rightly deserve. So hey, let's do as much as we can to celebrate their contributions to all this stuff. So yeah. I don't see any controversy why we would not go forward with that. So, yeah,
Thank you.
We'll take care of it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Can you turn your microphone on, please?
What are we actually doing? Asking, like, we're going back and hearing their story, but
Well, there's a project that we're in the process of doing that's going to be a wall at the new community center that recognizes the contribution that Kinsman Club made to it from the beginning.
okay.
Right.
I thought all of this was, because I knew they were upset that they didn't get mentioned at the grand opening, but I wasn't aware that with regards to wider research, because a lot of that is going to come back to like an individual, a spokesperson, because if you get all of them there, which is what you're saying, okay, that's new.
Like I said, we're just checking schedules now. We're going to meet representatives of Kismet, and we're going to make sure we give them the best recognition or come up with a solid plan for recognition that everyone's happy with, and follow through. Okay.
Okay,
Yes, they
sounds
well
good.
deserve recognition.
Yes, indeed they do.
And
All right, thank you. All right, now, where are we to? Liaison committees. The report that Councillor Roach gave last week from the Atlantic Mayor's Congress is attached. I don't think you need to go through all that again, do you?
no, I left it to you guys
Yep.
to bring it back and go through it and see if you had any questions or anything like that. But I can only once again say how important it is to go to these special conferences and for our mayor to be there, or whomever he designates, because it brings back a lot more information to us, and makes us all feel like we're more enlightened or whatever like that. We're going to be part of this if we can, and it's a great, respectful place to be when you meet with all the mayors. And like I said, they really have a thing for our mayor. He's well liked up there and well respected.
I do know that I received an email
I did too.
on the 2nd of November that they've been asked to present the motions that we put forward with regards to wastewater and the other one, flooding, to the Atlantic Canadian Province's Department Municipal Advisor. So whenever we do those things and we bring forward those motions and we work like that, it takes the 500,000 people that we have here in Newfoundland and Labrador, when you bring forward a resolution at M&L, and it adds probably another couple of million people to it when you get it done through M&L and through Atlantic Mayor's Congress with the support of New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and Nova Scotia. So it is a good thing. There's
Yes.
always strength in numbers. Thank you.
And also, I did receive a thank you from the mayor of Campbellton, wasn't it? Yep. And I really appreciated that, because she's a very special person.
She's very nice. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Intergovernmental, I don't have anything to report. Jack Byrne, anything to report? No. Northeast Avalon Joint Council, nothing. RNC, nothing to report there. Maybe we'll try and reach out this week and see if we're through with the pilot project. Torbay Volunteer Fire Department, minutes are attached. Councillor Martin.
Thank you. There were a total of 8 calls that were reported on the October 28th meeting. 2 medical calls, 2 requests for assistance, 1 car accident, 1 brush fire, 1 small house fire, and 1 propane leak. Other than that, they're discussing parades and things like that, getting ready for Christmas season.
Okay.
So other than that, it was a successful meeting, and they're having another one next Monday night.
All right. Thank you. UMC, no report. No notices of motion. New business. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship. I got a bunch of thank yous.
You only got how many minutes?
I'm going quick.
30 seconds?
First thank you I'd like to put out is to our former Premier, Kathy Dunderdale, who joined me at Juniper Ridge Intermediate. I was invited to speak to to my daughter's class, actually, about what it's like to be a politician, as they were studying politics in school. So I invited Kathy. I asked her if she would come for my Kathy to do that, and she did. So it was very nice to speak to that class. And we talked about why we got involved in politics and what our experience has been like so far. And it was really interesting for the kids. I'd like to thank Ms. Tiffany Hocko, who's the teacher, for helping to coordinate that. And I'd like to thank the students. They all painted rocks and certain things to say thank you to us. So my daughter came home pretty proud the other day with the rocks that all the students hand painted to thank myself and former Premier Dunderdale for participating in that class. I would like to thank everybody who participated in the community market, the trunk or treat, and all of the things that we had going on the last little while. I'd also like to thank our staff, even though I asked a couple of questions to former committee. They do fine work, and I want to make sure that's recognized. I'd like to thank Mr. Walter Hammond and the teachers at Juniper Ridge Intermediate that on Thursday night are going to be taking 80-odd students to Montreal, Quebec City, and Ottawa for the EF trip. My daughter will be going on that trip, so I will not be here, unfortunately, for the meeting on November 6th. I'll be getting her ready to go on her first trip by herself. And I'd also like to thank the town of Balleen for hosting the dart tournament again this weekend. It was absolutely fabulous, a great opportunity for us as municipal leaders across the region to discuss local issues as we were doing something that was for a good cause. I would like to thank Councillor Pollard for his help. I am not a dart player, but he kind of ended up maybe getting asked to coach me along, help me out, even shared his darts. And when time came to count up what I had, I was actually happy to hit the board. But when I did, he was the one who was there every time to come up and help me figure out what I had, because I don't understand enough about darts to figure out what I had put together. So thank you, Councillor Pollard, for your help. It was greatly appreciated. I think that's it. Oh, no, I have one more thank you. Quick thank you. I'd like to thank the Torbay Fire Department. We were out going around the Forest Landing area, and we heard the sirens and the lights, and they were going along making sure that everybody knew they were there and safety, just a safety piece. And it was really nice to see them as the children were outgoing, waving to the kids, taking their time, flashing lights, and just making sure there was a safety presence and people were thinking about that. So I'd like to thank them for that, because that was super cool. And the very last thank yous to our CAO. As we were going around doing the trick-or-treating, I was texting her. These are the lights that are out on the route that I'm on, and to get those followed up on. So thank you for being available.
Talk about getting in the weeds.
I know, sometimes you got to know when to turn it off. But I also want to thank our Director of Community Services as well, because she had some after-hours call from me around some of these issues that I asked about over the weekend. And she picked up the phone and she answered, and she was helpful and amazing, and she looked after that stuff too. So I think it's really important to to recognize what they do over and above their normal day-to-day job, because they do a lot. And that's it for me.
Sure. Councillor Martin.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Councillor Roach.
Just stand up.
You can do whatever you want. You got it,
I
thanks?
think I'll stand up for a
Go
change.
ahead.
Okay, my thank you is to the people who come to our meetings. We can always depend on you. And especially to those who showed up in force last meeting. It was done very orderly, and people had a venue to express themselves and to let us know what they really want. And in keeping them informed. This, of course, was democracy in its finest. And you got to appreciate, because November the 11th, we remember all those people who gave their lives fighting a horrible war, 2 horrible wars, and 3, I suppose, over in America too. And to give us the opportunity to have such a democracy. And thank you to all these people, especially those who passed. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Thorne-Goss.
Just like to say thank you to all of the staff that were involved with the various Halloween activities. I'm not a Halloween, so I wouldn't go into that haunted trail or spectacular. Not for me. Also to the community of Balleen for the dart tournament that they had, and anybody that went into the planning, and it was good to get to know other people. And I don't think personally that we spend enough time socializing, let alone with one another as a council, but to get the opportunity to talk to other towns. There's a lot of team building that takes place at those particular times. And last, I'd like to say a special thanks to Paula Lancaster, Tonya Mercer, and I understand that the 2 people, correct me if I'm wrong, Cassie Hammond and Kira Malloy. Okay, the girl Hammond, yes. So I'd like to get the right name for, I don't know, it's, I can't even think. Hammond.
Cassie, I think.
Cassie? Cassidy? Yes. Missed the Achievement Award she had leave for, which was wonderful. And Paula took this on. She volunteered and mentioned this some time ago, what we were doing about recycling, and that she would offer to go, and it manned one of the booths. And I never got there until later on that evening, but at that time, she had approximately 200 people that completed that questionnaire. And I'm sure she was all excited about it, that she'll be giving us an overview. It's really good to know that all of the stats, that we can get that information down at Robin Hood Bay, where we thought originally that we'd have to go in and look at our invoices and compile it. So with that being said, now we should be able to get some graphs and what have you, and get momentum going again with regards to our recycling program, and next year to be able to go and say, look, this is what we've done in the past year. So anyway, that's a big thank you, and it's, I guess, an example of availing of a volunteer that's come forward and taking that initiative and running with it. So and while it's not a thank you, I just would like to say congratulations to Brian Winter on, I guess, being offered, and I'm assuming going to a new position. So congratulations. That's it.
Thank you. Councillor Pollard.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just want to add one more thank you, and I guess it's an oversight on my part. We got tied up in all the goings on last weekend, I guess, and as my committee, Stephanie Hines, had always provided the backup and support, and we failed to say goodbye and offer our congratulations on her new position with Mount Pearl, and thank her for her time and service to the town of Torbay. So I certainly don't want to let that go unnoticed. I apologize for not doing anything. I did speak to her after the last council meeting and acknowledged that we did not do it publicly, so I intend to do it publicly now. So thanks to Stephanie, and we certainly wish her all the best in her job in Mount Pearl.
Thank you. Councillor Clay.
Stand, sit, stand.
Whatever you want.
I'll sit for this one. Just two quick things, I guess. We have a public consultation on our new budget coming up very shortly. I'd like to highly encourage all residents to take part in that. Again, it's my third term on council, and we've come a long way with regards to public consultations. And I think this is one of the things that we do very well for the most part. So everyone please come out. It's important your voice does get heard, and it'll help us set the priorities for what the next year is going to entail. Whether we put money towards X or Y. It's very important to have that input and make sure everyone's on board. Not just the 7 people around this council chamber, but the 7,000 people out in the town, and that and I stress this very much because it's I think it's very important that any of the large expenditures that we have are budgeted, well documented, and rationalized before we expenditure. Everyone knows I have some major concerns with large unbudgeted expenditures, and I think any large unbudgeted expenditure should be done in the context of basically go forward budget, so we can say the opportunity cost of spending $500,000 here versus $500,000 there, and actually have that open conversation with each other and with residents, and make sure everyone's on board and know exactly what we're getting into. So it's just, I think that's something I believe in. I think we should do that as much as possible. So I'm going to say for now on that topic. And I guess the second thing I want to say, a big thanks, is that this is actually a historic day in Torbay municipal democracy, whatnot. I guess this is our first official Cameras in Council session, right? So congratulations everybody. We actually made it. We got here. It's been a really long road to get here. I remember, I think I had this on my campaign card in 2009. I think I actually said Cameras in Council. I think the Northeast Avalon Times even ran that. It said, "Cameras coming to Torbay Council?" ? And that was a long time ago. And I think it just speaks to the progressiveness of our town and our council and our staff to actually get this going. And I know it's not just an easy road to get here, and there's lots of bugs we're going to work out now, sitting, standing, and feedback, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure we're might look at this and go, geez, I can't, do I sound like that? Like hearing your own voice on the telephone or something like that. But I think it's a really good thing for the residents of our town. And I think if we're not totally comfortable with it now, we're all going to grow into it. And I'd just like to thank everyone for watching, for listening, and being involved and engaged with our town. And I guess thank everyone for allowing that to happen. Thanks.
Okay. All right, thank you. I would echo what everybody else has said about staff and the public that come here to our meetings. And Stephanie Mingana did come last week, Don. We had a party here for her, and I came by and wished her well and thanked her for the job she did with the town. I would also like to thank Mr. Emberley and Mr. Connors from Juniper Ridge and Holy Trinity High School for inviting me again this year to go to the Remembrance Day ceremonies. Looking forward to that. Also, I would like to thank Mayor Thorne for tagging me in a social media post asking me to join his Movember team. So some people would notice I'm a little lighter on facial hair tonight than I would have been last week. And that's all to raise money for prostate cancer. So I'll be sticking that out there now and looking for donations over the next couple of weeks or the rest of this month. Then I'm sure that everybody's going to give me all kinds of money so I can get ahead of Darren Thorne. That's the friendly competition part of it. And hopefully we'll be able to get some more mayors on board. I know there's a couple of more mayors, one down in Balling that got a big old hairy face on him. We should be able to get him to to shave off. We'll get some money out of him too. So, other than that, I don't have much more to say. I thank everybody for coming, and you know, and for those who are going to watch this webcast or whoever watched it, I hope that our council conducts ourselves with professionalism, which we should all the time, and I think that we did tonight and going forward, and it's going to be all good. And with that, I would ask anyone in the public gallery if they have any questions about anything that we discussed here tonight. Madeline?
I'm a little disappointed, and I think there might be other people on the Indian Meal line disappointed as well to hear that the installation of speed bumps is not a sure thing. I remember this being discussed around this time last year, and there was a lot of work done around that. There was a survey and so on, and I know there was a meeting with some residents, although I wasn't part of that. And I'm sure I recollect last fall that the council had approved the installation of speed bumps on Indian Meal line. However, it was clear there was no money in last year's budget to do it. So it was my understanding that there was money put into the 2019 budget for the installation of these speed bumps. Perhaps I assumed, because I had heard the road was going to be paved, and figured that's probably why they had not been installed. But now I'm disappointed to hear that we don't have provincial approval. And before I finish, I'd just like to say, you know, the paving is really nice and so on. Not a lot of it, though. It doesn't go on very long. No. So when our MHA said the Indian Meal line was being paved, it wasn't all of Indian Meal line. And there was more done on Portugal Cove side. But anyways, that's my concern.
My understanding is, from speaking to the MHA, is that the minister says, yes, we can go ahead and put speed bumps on enemy line, or if there's other places that we want to do it, we can request to the minister, because the minister is the one that has to give the approval. And to me, I don't think it's going to be an issue, but we only allowed to put them between May and October, I believe, was the time frame that they had given us at the time. Mm-hmm. So regardless if, even at this time of year for this year, we wouldn't be allowed to put them in now. And if we do, we can put them in next year early in the spring, mm-hmm. I guess, when the snow clearing season ends. So that was the stipulation that they put on it. Yeah. And that's my understanding. We can follow up with it, but I'm pretty sure that that's the case, is that we can put them there. But we had to put them there and take them up, and at those specific times.
Yeah, well, I know there are people who have mentioned it to me or in discussion with neighbors, so perhaps to let them know what's happening. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Ms. Lacey.
This is, well, a while ago I attended I think it's called Communities in Bloom, or new name on it, here in the council chambers. But I haven't seen it not advertised, I haven't seen it posted who the winners were, or did I miss it in Torbay Talks? Or
that was the Torbay Beautification Award.
Torbay Beautification.
Because you kind of caught me off guard. Communities in Bloom was something different, wasn't it? That was
it's renamed.
Yeah, that was the national one that we were involved in, I think.
And but I haven't seen the winners in Torbay Talks or the Times or whatever you put it in, or you know, the signs that the winners that you put in, the winners when the flowers are all faded now. It's a big late for that. But somebody had asked me, as a matter of fact, a couple of people. I thought maybe I missed it, but I didn't miss it.
All right, can we follow up on that, Don, please? All right, we'll follow up on that.
And one other quick question. Why is it you can't leave your microphones on?
We can. The issue with the way these microphones are is they have a speaker on them right here. Yeah. So everybody's microphone plus a speaker. So sometimes when you're close to each other, it seems that we're getting feedback. I don't know that it's going to be the case, but everybody could leave their microphones on all the time, but it's better if only the person speaking has their microphone on. That way we don't get crosstalk going on. So that's kind of the reason for that. It's not so much about feedback.
No. But for such an expensive...
oh, no, they work fine.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they work fine. Can you hear me?
Well, you're going to have a little plaque keep when the person gets up to speak. Turn on your mic.
Well, it's just new. After a couple of weeks, when we get used to it, a few meetings, it'll be just second nature,
Okay.
right?
So you're going to do the write-up on the winners of the,
Yeah, we should have that, yeah.
whatever, community, whatever it's called.
All right. Thank you. Paula?
My interest, and I keep saying over and over again, is safety. And the other one is water, from groundwater to the outflow and everything in between, every pond, every well. And the third one is my still uneasy feeling about finances. And I'm hearing that, and I read about it in the newspaper. It was one of the few meetings that I missed where people are feeling uneasy about the finances of our town. So the first thing I want to mention around safety, I was on Browns Lane leaving here just before dark, and there's a stop sign missing on that new setup there. Fine for me, because I know that area. I travel it often. So if that stop sign wasn't there in the last 12 hours or 24 hours, that's a safety concern. So it wasn't there coming up to dark. I don't think anybody showed up to pop in a stop sign. I'm pretty sure I'm reading it right. Actually, I know I'm reading it right. I'm not going to question myself on that. There's a stop sign missing. And that means I can run through Browns Lane and get to the new stop sign, and somebody coming off of Bowling Line can turn right and hit me. So I just wanted to, I wish I didn't have that experience before
There was a stop sign there, and now it's gone? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying there isn't a stop sign, and there should be a stop sign there. And it may have been there all along, but it needs to be there.
Can you tell me where exactly that is?
Browns Lane.
Yeah.
And is it Santa Maria? The corner of Browns Lane. Is it Santa Maria?
The one,
Okay, so the
we'll
end.
have someone go
Yeah,
check it out.
I'll draw you a map.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know. But
Okay, we'll check that out.
so,
There was a change in the configuration from what was previously there to what's currently there.
yes,
Circulated to the residents, so there is one less stop sign, but we will, and it was verified because our staff installed them, and the traffic engineer verified that everything was installed correctly.
oh,
But we'll go back, I'll get the supervisor in the morning to go back and make sure all the correct signs are in place.
right, it's a safety issue, and it's a serious one, somebody coming off Bowling Line. And verification and engineers, doesn't matter. A group of any of us could have gone there and said, holy crap, there's a stop sign missing here. So the other thing that I wanted to mention, Stephanie Hines, I believe, was a chartered professional accountant. And I did notice in an advertisement that the next person can be an accountant or they can have a business degree. And I didn't ask any questions, so I'm not fully up to date on this, but I really do think the town needs an accountant at the level of operation that we're having. And again, if I didn't read that right, you can correct me, but I do think that's what was in the ad, that the person can have a business degree, and that does not feel right to me. I think I'm going to leave it at that. The consulting night, the budget night, it looks like I'm going to miss that. And I'm not sure what the formula of that's going to be, but I'm really I'd be looking for audit, project management, over budgeting that I'm hearing. I hear whispers, I hear direct information, more about what happened, why did it happen, where are we, how can we go forward. I think as residents, we really need to have that picture of what happened last year. And that's just me coming on board for the last 18 months when I was just enjoying beautiful Torbay. I wasn't taking in what was, I didn't even know that the Commons was going up. I had no idea. So now I know. And so I really think the residents need a lot of information about what happened over the last year, money spent, money overspent. And there's one thing, can I say one more thing, or should I stop?
How much time you got? You almost
Okay.
got- You got 4 seconds.
No, that's okay. I'll save it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else? No? Okay, seeing none. Our next regular scheduled public council meeting is scheduled for November 18th here at 6:30. And as I announced earlier, we'll be having one on Wednesday, 6:30 or 6. So 6 o'clock, I guess. We'll do it for 6 o'clock on Wednesday. And with that, I would entertain a motion, please. Seconder? In favor? Okay, thank you.